Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about the unmasking Minnesota's hidden Jim Crow, redlining, racism, and injustice. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. Let's start the video. In the narrative of American civil rights struggles, Minnesota is not often in the forefront. Often celebrated for its progressive values, picturesque landscapes, and strong civic engagement, the state's hidden history of racial discrimination might come as a surprise. Beneath the surface of its welcoming facade lies a story that mirrors the infamous Jim Crow era, albeit with its own unique manifestations. This script endeavors to shine a light on Minnesota's obscured history of redlining, racism, and injustice, unmasking the complexities that have shaped the state's racial landscape. While not characterized by overt segregation laws like its southern counterparts, Minnesota's past is marred by insidious practices that systematically marginalized communities of color. Redlining, a discriminatory housing policy, silently pushed minority communities to the periphery of cities, denying them access to essential resources and opportunities. This practice, endorsed and perpetuated by both public and private sectors, effectively drew lines of division that perpetuated inequality for decades. The governmental role in this hidden Jim Crow is undeniable. The Federal Housing Administration, FHA, and other agencies employed discriminatory lending practices that disproportionately affected Black and minority families, confining them to specific neighborhoods and limiting their economic prospects. These policies forged a chain reaction of limited educational opportunities, diminished access to quality healthcare, and stunted upward mobility, all of which continue to reverberate through the state's communities today. Minnesota's educational system, often hailed for its quality, has not been immune to this history. Communities subjected to redlining were systematically denied the resources necessary for a robust education. The result is a lingering disparity that perpetuates the cycle of systemic racism, leaving a profound impact on educational outcomes for generations. In exploring the hidden Jim Crow of Minnesota, we must confront uncomfortable truths about how policies and attitudes of the past continue to shape the present. By unearthing these narratives, we can better understand the systemic inequities that persist and work collectively to dismantle the structures that have perpetuated them. Through open dialogue, acknowledgement of historical injustices, and the pursuit of meaningful change, we can pave the way for a more just and inclusive future for all Minnesotans. Chapter 1. Redlining and its impact. Redlining, a discriminatory practice that systematically denied loans and housing opportunities to communities of color, profoundly affected Minnesota's cities. During the 20th century, neighborhoods were categorized by risk factors, leading to disinvestment in Black and minority communities. The consequences were far-reaching, with restricted access to education, healthcare, and upward mobility. Areas designated as high risk were deprived of resources, leading to cycles of poverty that persist to this day. Chapter 2. The role of government. The government played a significant role in perpetuating racism through policies that favored white residents. The Federal Housing Administration, FHA, and the Homeowners Loan Corporation, HOLC, endorsed redlining, further segregating neighborhoods. Discriminatory lending practices disproportionately impacted Black families, locking them out of opportunities for homeownership and wealth accumulation. The result was a deeply divided city, with stark racial disparities that continue to this day. Chapter 3. Educational inequities. Minnesota's educational system also reflects the hidden Jim Crow. While the state is known for its strong education, there are disparities in access and quality. Minority communities often face underfunded schools, inadequate resources, and lack of representation in curriculum. The echoes of redlining continue to reverberate through educational inequalities, further perpetuating the cycle of systemic racism. Chapter 4. Criminal justice disparities. The criminal justice system in Minnesota has disproportionately impacted communities of color. Racial profiling, over-policing, and biased sentencing have led to a disproportionately high number of Black individuals incarcerated. Incidents like the death of George Floyd highlighted the deep-rooted issues within law enforcement, leading to a reckoning with the systemic racism that permeates the state. Chapter 5. Grassroots activism and progress. Despite these challenges, Minnesota is also a landscape of resilience and activism. Grassroots organizations and individuals have tirelessly worked to challenge systemic racism and address its consequences. Movements like Black Lives Matter have amplified voices, demanding justice, accountability, and equitable policies. The public discourse is shifting, leading to conversations about reparations, housing equity, and educational reform. Chapter 6: Towards a More Equitable Future. Minnesota's hidden Jim Crow is not a story of the past, but a present reality. The road to a more equitable future requires acknowledging this history and addressing its ongoing impacts. Policy changes, investments in underrepresented communities, equitable education, and criminal justice reform are essential steps in dismantling the legacy of redlining and systemic racism. That's the end of our today's video. I hope you liked the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for future updates. Thanks for watching.